Hello and welcome back to my channel. We're talking about bagpipes. I hope this is information that is useful for any of you who are just curious about the instrument, but I also hope that there'll be some good information in here for experienced pipers as well. We're talking about the major components right now of any typical bagpipe. We've already done a video about the bag, about the blowpipe, and the bellows. Now on this video, what I want to focus on are the drones. Pretty much any configuration of bagpipe in any culture around the world has at least one drone plugged into the bag. And a drone provides a constant, steady background note while a melody is being played on the chanter. In the case of the Great Highland bagpipe, we have 3 drones. Here you can see them. This is the bass drone and 2 tenor drones. And if you notice, these 2 tenor drones are the same length. They play the exact same note. The bass drone is exactly twice the length of this. So if you're familiar with music, the bass drone plays the same note, but 1 octave lower. On these drones, the reed for the drone is down here in the stock. So this is called the stock, and the stock is tied into the bag, and air flows through the reed. And by the way, we'll have a separate video in the future about reeds. But anyway, the air flows through the reed on up through the bore of the drone, and there are several components to these. This is called the projecting mount. This is called the tuning pin. This is a ferrule. This is a ring cap. And this is called a tuning pin. This upper portion, if you can see, it can slide up and down. The hole goes all the way through the drone. But by lengthening the drone, the pitch will drop. By shortening the length of the drone, the pitch will rise. And so what we do when we play the Highland pipes is we start out with low A on the chanter, and we tune 1 drone to low A to match that. And then we tune the second drone to the first drone. And finally, we tune the bass drone to these 2. It's kind of a cool process. Some pipers use the fancy electronic digital tuners now, but once you, sorry for the pun, but once you get attuned to what you're listening for, you can tune your pipes quite rapidly by yourself without the use of a tuning device at all. One of the worst things you can hear is a bagpipe that's out of tune. There are a lot of jokes about, can a bagpipe ever be in tune? Well, I'm here to tell you yes. And when they are in tune, they sound beautiful. And when they're slightly out of tune, they sound awful. This is the reed on this drone. I just want to show you how the slide works. It's simply wrapped with thread up here. It's snug, but you can still sort of slide it up and down here. And I'll show you what I mean by the pitch. So that's how we tune the drones to the chanter and to each other. So the really cool thing is, like with the Highland pipes, you have 2 drones that are the exact same note. And if you remember back to your physics class, sound wave is a sine wave basically, right? And the frequency of that sine wave relates to the pitch. So the goal is to get the pitch of these 2 drones to match. That's why I say we start out tuning the middle drone to the chanter. Once that's done, then we open up this drone and we tune this one to match this one. Well, on a sine wave, if they're the exact same, you won't hear any warble at all. If you're a piper already, once you get this concept down, you won't need to rely nearly so much on digital tuners. Now, a pipe band might still use a digital tuner to make sure they're all on the same frequency. But think back to that sine wave. When they're out of tune, you'll hear the phase shift of the sine wave. You'll hear this kind of a warble. It'll go wah, 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 wah. And as you adjust the second drone to the first one, it'll go wah, 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 wah. And when you get all of the warbling out of it, you know that these are at the exact same audible pitch. Any bagpipe has at least one, sometimes two, sometimes three. I don't think I've ever seen a bagpipe with four drones, but I suppose it's possible. Again, in the case of the Great Highland Bagpipe, all of these are tuned to low A. It's actually more of a concert B flat, but that's another topic for another day. Just hang with me here. These are all tuned to A. This would be tenor high A, low A, and they're tuned to low A on the chanter. So what is the function of the drone? And what they do is when you got a steady pressure on the bag and you have this steady airflow, one of the goals of a good piper is to produce steady airflow through all of the pipes. So when these are just blowing steadily, it's just this ba, ba. That's all it does. Now, in the case of small pipes and Northumbrian pipes, some of these other types of bagpipes, they might have a bass and a tenor on the note A, and then they'll have a third baritone drone or some other note here to provide harmony. So there's really some cool things that you can do with these drones. But they don't change their note, they don't change their melody, they just provide exactly that, a drone. Now, I'm not a bagpipe manufacturer, but generally, the larger the diameter of the bore and the longer the pipe, it's going to produce a louder sound. So here again, the Great Highland Bagpipe. Over here, these are my small pipes, and you can see here the drones are now, instead of being in three separate stocks, they all come together in a common stock into the bag. So you have this kind of cluster of drones. All of the reeds are down here inside this larger stock. In the case of these, you have a bass, a baritone. This set of drones actually has 4 drones, but you would only typically use 3 at any time, depending on the chanter that you're electing to use in the bagpipe. But in the case of small pipes, you typically have a bass drone, a tenor drone, which is 1 octave higher, and then a baritone drone, which plays in the music world, what we call, it plays on the 5th. So this would play in the note E. It provides a really, really cool harmonic sound. I want to show you what a set of pipes sounds like with drones 1 octave apart, and then with the addition of a third baritone drone, common on small pipes, never on Highland bagpipes. For this demonstration, I'm using the McCallum small pipes in the key of C that I just recently purchased over in Scotland just a couple of months ago. I'm really excited about them. This has a set of 3 drones, all in a common stock. It also has a shutoff valve right here, so I can turn the drones on or off as I wish. Furthermore, for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm using just simple plugs right here that go by friction into the hole of the top 2 drones. So what we have here is a tenor drone, a bass drone. These are going to play the same note but 1 octave apart. And then this one is called the baritone drone, and this plays the note E 5 notes higher than the tenor drone. Okay. Now, I've been mesmerized by these pipes because normally you would see the bass drone exactly twice the length of the tenor drone, but this one is clearly not. It appears to me that the drone reed on this bass drone is engineered to be a wider diameter, and I think that's how they got the lower note. There's a lot of engineering and physics here that I think I'm going to have to write to the bagpipe McCallum company and bagpipe company and find out how they did this. But anyway, for purpose of demonstration, I'm going to start here with the tenor drone, okay? So here's the chanter. Well, you can see that the melody is made on the chanter, and the drone provides just a steady background note. So now I'm going to uncork the bass drum too, so you can hear how it sounds with these together now, okay? So there are some tunes that sound great just like that, and this sound would most closely resemble the Highland pipes, because the Highland pipes, as you recall, only have a bass drum and 2 tenors. But on the small pipes, we now have the 5th, or the baritone. So I'm going to uncork that and let you see now the difference here. So there you go. Most pipe tunes sound really good with the baritone drone added in. Some don't. Some are in a little different key, and so I'll have that little plug. It's just a little plug right in there. It stops it up. So if it doesn't sound right with the melody I'm playing, just plug it up. Otherwise, I'll play it. It's just a really nice little harmonic effect. So there you go. That's all about drones, and really appreciate your time. Hope you had a good time watching this. Please like and subscribe the video, and I'll see you next time.